Yeah, the Grand Prix for mobile was called Textbooks, and it was an interesting choice for us. And I think that I would have to say, for me, it wasn't initially my choice, but as we had a discussion about it, it really framed up why it should be the Grand Prix, and became obvious because it was all about utilizing old technology in a really unique way. So it would send a message that mobile doesn't just have to be the flashiest new app, but if it's a smart idea and great creativity, then it should be awarded as such, which is why that we ultimately chose it as a jury. So initially, the textbooks wasn't my choice. The other two that were kind of close to that, I think, were Scrabble Wi-Fi and Google World Wide Web. And I was leaning more towards the Scrabble Wi-Fi because it just had this great idea of taking, when you log in for a Wi-Fi, and instead of having to enter this cumbersome code, you got the letter tiles from Scrabble, you created a word, and based on that word score, you got that many minutes of free Wi-Fi, which is just a great connection to the brand. But one of the jurors talked about sort of the message that we want to send in terms of how we're looking at not just technology, but really the three areas of mobile, mobility, connectedness, and proximity. And this one really seemed to be a great way to bring those to life, which was why that flipped me around right away, and we voted it in. Well, I think as we look at how people best use it, I'm actually going to flip that around for a second. And so, when we look at the list of the short list and ultimately who won the Lion, there's a couple interesting things that stand out. First and foremost is there's a lack of rich media. That's somewhat from entries, but really from the work that was in the entries. And unfortunately, we had to struggle a little bit to say this is really good work. And partly that's because people were applying sort of old, interactive, almost banner-based thinking to this rich tablet or mobile space. And so I think it's as important what's not on that list as what is. On the flip side, though, there's some really immersive work like Clouds Over Cuba, which is a great use of tablet and mobile and how those two devices work together. Things like Score Cleaner, which is just a dead simple app that you can sing into, and that converts it into a musical score. So you've got that tech side as well as just that incredible design. So we talked a lot about that too in terms of looking at the work. And I think there's two things. One, as we walk around the festival, everybody has a device, if not multiple. So I think we all know that ad nauseum. It's time to start to look at where the budget starts to go. I think again, directionally, what was interesting looking at especially the golds, is that some of the really good work was done by charities. And I think that's also a signal to where brands and where clients are in terms of comfort level of how much and what we can do in mobile. But looking at sort of the charity area, you can see some pretty incredible things like Missing Child from China, which uses photography, facial recognition, crowdsourcing to help find children that are missing or have been kidnapped. So just an incredible use of technology. So those kinds of things I hope coming out of this give rise to clients really being open to a lot more things. But other areas like augmented reality, like the Penguins app for the Tokyo Aquarium, are just dead simple, great user experience ways to bring high-tech things to life to help fulfill a need.